I think that leads directly into
Yep.
our next slide here. And that
Mm-hmm.
is, we speak about where do you want to go and what you want to be. And one of the things, as we spoke about earlier, is affirmations
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of speaking things into your life. So I'll let
Absolutely.
Coach Jamecia take over right now.
Yeah, affirmations is huge. It has, whether you call it confess, you confessing things over your life or affirmations, however you name it, is
Mm-hmm.
so huge to me. You because it can also, once you feel like you have arrived at a place, life can life be life, and as they say. And then that affirmation will bring you back. If you are saying this over your life, it will bring you back in remembrance.
Yes,
Here I
yes.
go. Right?
Listen, full weekend today. And let's be transparent as we can be, okay? Life happened before we even started the seminar today.
Woo!
And what did we do? Stop, regroup, and perform our affirmations and
Yes, we
prayer
did.
so that we can, turn into what our purpose is and what we want to relay this message, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is
Mm-hmm.
a very important thing. And you don't have to do it first thing in the morning. This is a throughout the day
Through
thing
the
that you
day.
can quickly, one sentence, whatever it is on your mind, that you can say to remind yourself who you are, not who you were,
Mm.
who you are,
Who
right? And
you
who you
are.
want to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
So as we shared before, like affirmations, um, one of my affirmations that I shared was I will be an international coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even before then, even before when my confidence was not where it was supposed to be, where I didn't know who my identity was. I didn't know what my identity was. I'm sorry. Or my self esteem wasn't where it's supposed to be. Or I dealt with the anxiety. I dealt with the depression. Those are my stories. I had to start affirming over myself because I
Yes.
couldn't lean to someone else to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't lean on, my mom or whoever because, mom will tell you, girl, go pray. But what am I praying? So I had to be able to be, very persistent on what I was saying. So we wanted to have affirmations for this webinar series for you to start confessing, start believing. But we also want you to get to a place where you are creating your own affirmations as well. So one of our affirmations for part one series is today I realize that I am more than my circumstances. Today,
Right now.
right now, at this very moment, you
Mm-hmm.
need to realize that you are more than your circumstances. You are more than the amount of money in your pocketbook
Mm-hmm.
right now. You are more than the how you feel, how someone makes you feel. You are more than what your job is. You are more than what someone say you are. You are more than the transportation you may have. You are more of all of the things that's happened to you. You are more than every bit of those things. I
Mm-hmm.
had to get to a place where I identify that I am more than a mom.
Mm-hmm. Speak
I
on
am
it.
I am more than a spouse. I am more than a servant. I have a
Mm-hmm.
servant's heart, and I'm more than a person to say, "Yeah, I got that for you. I can
Mm-hmm.
help you." I am more than the person that was yes to the pastor anytime the pastor needed me to do something in the church. I was more than any of those things.
Yes. Yes. And
I was more. And so
mm-hmm.
that is where you have to get to a place of identifying the more. Who is more? Is you. It's you. So I know Coach Lakaien has something to say, but while you're listening to her, drop down in the chat that affirmation, I am more. Today, I
Yes.
realize I am more than my circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to, bring forth, there is a voice that you have not been listening to. I'm going to say it again. And this is for everyone on the live, I mean, everyone in the webinar today. There is a voice that you have not been listening to. You hear it every day. You probably hear it when you're washing your dishes, you're doing different things throughout the house. While you're at work, I should be doing this. I want to do this. I could be doing that, right? And it is internal. It speaks to you. It's a whisper. It's trying to scream at you. Whatever it is, over the next week, I'm going to say to you, try to listen for when that whisper comes along. It may shout at you because mine shouted. Listen, but what I'm saying is that there is an internal voice that you have that tells you what it wants from you. Okay. And
Then
you may not have.
can I give an example of that? So
Mhm.
you are at work and a boss, supervisor, even a coworker may say, "Hey, I need you to go over here and do this right now because you need to be and I asked you to do this a long time ago." Right? Your inner voice said, "Why are you talking to me like that? Why did you?
Not
Why did
today.
you? Why did you come over here and?" Because first of all, you can talk to me nicely. There's a way to talk. You can say anything to me that you would like to say, but you're not going to say. And so that's what you wanted to say on the inside.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But your mouth said, "Okay, yeah, I got it."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then you just go do it.
Oh yeah.
What about the voice that says, I don't want to be in this fast food restaurant, or I don't want to be doing this particular job. I don't want to be, in my case, I didn't want to be in insurance. I wanted to be out helping women, right? And when I
Mm-hmm.
spoke about it was screaming at me, it started as a whisper. It started
Mm-hmm.
as a whisper saying, you were going to help women. You were going to be able to empower them and have real conversations with them. It started out very simple and very
Mm-hmm.
small, right? But it
Yeah.
had gotten to a point where it was screaming at me that I had no choice but to say, if I don't leave this job, I need to go in another direction. But the whole reason I want to point it out to you today is that, as the affirmation said, today, right? Today,
Today.
I want you to listen to what that voice is saying to you today, because it's
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell you something about who you are going to be tomorrow. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were concentrating on who I was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
the circumstances that you were entangled in yesterday, if you continue to be focused in on that, you're not going to tap into one, who am I right now? What characteristics am I growing from and could grow from? And
Mm-hmm.
who do I want to be tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that will be an exercise we could talk about later. I don't want to go too getting too excited, don't want to go too far here, but I just want to say, when you are going throughout your day, listen to your inner self, listen to
Listen to it. Your inner
inside.
voice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Your inner voice.
Yes, absolutely. So right now, as we move on here, I'm just going to share with you our next screen, and it's talking about, how does situations where you have covered up from your childhood all the way to your adulthood to where you are now, how has it shown up in your life in a negative way? And you may not even have known that it was manifesting in a particular way, right? When you're angry and you're popping off to your children because your child is just seeing you the first time for the day, running up to you, happy face, hi, mommy. And the first thing out of your mouth, leave me alone.
I've
didn't
done it.
make you listen, the child didn't make you angry, the child didn't,
Right.
piss you off. Something occurred, something in your mind, your frustrations. I have this to do. I'm worried about my finances. I'm concerned about this. I have so many different things to do. And it's manifesting up in your life that the things that would be bringing you joy, you can't see,
Mm-hmm.
you can participate in, right? And so you're an actor in your own life because you're going through these situations. And we want to get to a point, and showing you that it's about recognizing, self recognition. Where am I taking? If you have to say to someone, give me 5 minutes, I'll be right back with you.
Mm-hmm.
You do not cause a scar to your child, because now when you say to your child, leave me alone, I'll get to you in 2 minutes, or I'll deal with you in a second, that child then is wounded because mama don't want to be around me, or mama's irritated with me, mama's mad with me. And you're creating wounds within your kids that you don't even know that you're creating. I'm guilty of that. I
Mm-hmm.
am so guilty of that, right? Of being short tempered and saying, listen, I'm so stressed out, I don't have time for this, and leaving my child to go do whatever she needed to do on her own. Meanwhile, I'm creating scars, I'm creating wounds that I didn't intend unconsciously, I didn't intend to bring up for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is they get 20 and they are dealing with situations that they now have to go and see a coach, go see a counselor, because I cause scars or you cause scars. So I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say to you that if you are just using a situation, using a scenario, if you find yourself where you are not in control of your emotions, the best thing that you can do is self recognize. I am having a moment. And in this moment, I need to take 5 minutes out, 10 minutes out to jot down, to categorize, put into place what it is that I'm thinking, so that
Mm-hmm.
I can come back to, am I angry at this person? Am I angry at this situation? Because you may be directing your anger at the wrong individual and at the wrong place, and you could be ruining some good, healthy relationships that you didn't intend to do.
Absolutely. Manifestation of covering up for me was depression.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Depression and anxiety um, came, transparent moment.
Yeah.
Like, so I graduated from high school, um, got married, um, had my first child
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks before graduation. Okay. My mom will probably tell you she don't know what I'm talking about. She told me I wasn't going to be anything. I wasn't going to graduate high school, and I wasn't going to be anything. Now, kudos to me. I graduated from high school, had a scholarship for college,
Mm-hmm.
graduated on the principal's list, and walked across the stage. I got my high
Wow.
school diploma. But the
Yeah.
thing about it is, I had to tap into this personal space for myself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, married. Well, before I had married, I had my child. Of course, the child was first. Then me thinking, hey, I done graduated. I'm about to um, be a mom. Go to school, go to
Yeah.
college. I had a mom who was still telling me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
based off the dynamic of right as I was growing up, it was, she's still telling me, hey, no, you're gonna stay here. I need you to be here with your siblings. No, not you. Even when it came to college, as far as the Pell Grant, getting scholarship and stuff, she
Yeah.
wouldn't give me my information so that I can go get the scholarship. So I missed out on my scholarship because of that. And so I was stuck not never tapping into who I was, but I
Mm.
automatically tapped into being mom,
Yes.
daughter, oldest sibling,
Mm-hmm.
and spouse.
Yes.
I tapped
Yes.
into those places. And so
Mm-hmm.
all I knew was to be great in those places,
Mm-hmm.
still never identifying or knowing that there was a person inside of me that needed to be who she needed to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so life happened. Years went by, right? Great mom, great spouse, great server at the church, serving at the church and the community, nonprofit organizations, doing all of the things. But
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
happened? I was depressed. But yes, I had 6 children. And then for some reason, somehow, this chemical imbalance came out after having my kids. So postpartum depression hit me really, really bad after my third
Mm-hmm.
child. And
Mm-hmm.
so after the third child, I was to a place where I had a newborn child, 2 kids prior, and I couldn't move out of one spot.
Listen.
I was stuck. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't feeding my child. I wasn't attending to the other children. I cried all day long. I said, I looked and I said, I'm leaving, right?
Yep.
This is how bad it was. I'm leaving. At the
Mm-hmm.
time, my spouse was like, whoa, where are you going? And I said, I don't know. I'm gonna leave the kids here with you. I don't know. All I know is I just need to pack up and go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how bad the depression was.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I got some help,
Yep.
right? Was told to get medication. Medication didn't help for me. Okay, let
Mm-hmm.
me just
Mm-hmm.
say that medication didn't help for me, but it wound up taking me laying on my face,
Mm-hmm.
reciting and affirming Psalms 27
Mm-hmm.
to get me out of this place of depression. And so, where I was covered up, holding in my heart,
Yes.
holding in my mind, holding
Mm-hmm.
in my body the stress, the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, the depression from what I was thought that I was supposed to be doing because I was
Yes.
told, not knowing that I needed to tap into who I truly was. Then
Mm-hmm.
here I am now, like, no, yeah, love you, mean it. No,
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
now I uncovered that place and I'm never
Yes.
going back.
Yes.
I uncovered that place and here we are. I have to keep moving forward. Oh, the triggers come, yes, but guess what? Here I am. I am beautifully made. I have the confidence. I am confident.
Mm-hmm.
I am bold. I am
Yes.
worthy. I speak those affirmations over myself
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I will no longer go back.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the manifestation was the depression and the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It was unpacked and uncovered once I did the inner work.
Yes.
And
Right.
so that is why we're here.
Self-recognition.
Yes,
Self-recognition, right?
yes.
And it's amazing because we have the opposite story, right? I had a mother who chose to leave and I can only assume that it was in that depression that she must have left. So I
Mm,
was abandoned at the age of 6. I was left with my grandmother at the age of 6. At the time and growing up, it didn't feel right. It was like my mom, the one who's supposed to love you, supposed to care about you above all else, she left me. So if she don't love
mm-hmm,
me, who does, right?
mm-hmm,
But I
mm-hmm.
just wanted to point out that it's the opposite story. And I'm here today.
Yes.
She could have left her kids, but she chose to stay with her children. And she chose to figure out, I need to find out what self-recognition, I
Mm-hmm,
need to figure out what is happening to me. Right.
mm-hmm,
And we are
mm-hmm.
not, demising, and we're not trying to diminish everyone's story. I want to say there's a beauty in my mom, at the time when I was going through everything. Yes, it hurt me.
Yeah.
What if she made a decision at that particular time that was best for her and was
Mm.
also best for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
she knew I cannot raise my daughter at the moment, and the best place to leave her would be with her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can only commend her that her self recognition at that particular time told her what her capacity was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, I in my years, I'm like, oh, I can come up with all the words, selfish, is this, is that, all of these different things. But who I am now and the space that I am at today, yes, I can tell that story, but I've rewritten it in my mind, right? To say there is some beauty out of that,
Yeah.
because she chose she could have loved me enough to say, I do not have the capacity to raise you, and I
Mm-hmm.
need to leave you as someone who can, right? And so I just want to point that out. You know, we speak about the manifestation, we speak about the depression, we speak about the anxiety. I've gone through panic attacks, I've gone through many different things. But when we get to a point of self recognition and we are
Mm-hmm.
able to look at things, we spoke about it earlier, having a different perspective,
Yeah.
looking at a situation from a different angle. It Everything has two sides to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has two sides to it. It's good, it's evil. What are you choosing to look at?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can sit here all day
All
and look
day.
at, we can make a long list of all of the evil things that have happened to us, that are
Mm-hmm.
reoccurring in our minds. And
Yep.
half of the time, through the depression, through the anxiety, and we're not telling you that you don't need to seek medical assistance
We're
on
not
certain
telling you
things.
that. We can
Okay,
seek help.
we will
I
tell you.
seek
We
help.
will certainly tell you, because that is a counselor. You know, a coach is a person that would help you and assist you to get from point A to point B. Where do you want to go? And
Right.
give you the tools. And that's what we're speaking about today, is
So,
the tools
mm-hmm.
to rewrite the narrative, right?
Right.
Rewrite the story.
Right.
Because, and that's exactly what I needed to do in my own life. I could still sit here. A year ago, 2 years ago, I was singing that tune like, my mama left me, whatever, ABCD, right? That was because I was focused on the negative. Rewriting your story means choosing, I want good. And
Absolutely.
what can I profit from continuously looking at something negative?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No profit
What
whatsoever.
is it bringing to me? It's not bringing anything to my life. It's not bringing nothing to my life. But if I choose to look at it in a different way, when I look at it from that perspective, I can say to myself, well, maybe she did love me enough to go and leave me with my, to go
Maybe
and leave
so.
me with my granny, right? And
Maybe
that
so.
is bringing some joy into my space at this particular age. And so, manifestation, talking about depression, talking about anxiety, even fear in itself,
Love.
but we're thinking so far ahead on certain things. Oh, this is going to happen to us. All of those things manifested and coming up into your spirit, coming up into your life. We want you to get to a place where it's going to happen. We get it,
Mm-hmm.
right? You are
Yep.
going to find yourself, as I did one day, in a place. I was at my daughter's school and I was having a panic attack. And I've had panic attacks many years since. And COVID happened, I was having panic attacks again. They came all over
Mm-hmm.
again, okay? Being
Mm-hmm.
re-entered into the world when you didn't want to be around anyone, that came up again. But when you have tools
Yep.
to put in place and say, where am I at the moment?
Yes.
Where am I at? Those affirmations, those declarations, we're not saying it to you so that you can just, it's a sentence. They are something to actually live by. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you close your eyes and you were thinking about what is my reality in this moment, right? Yes, my house is a mess. Yes, I do not have I don't have money to pay my bills, ABCD. If I close my eyes and just think for one moment, my children have a roof over their head,
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
right?
Yes, they do.
It is as simple as saying that in this particular moment, this is where we are at, because we can allow those manifestations to run wild. We can allow them to run wild, right? But as a coach, we teach you those tools and assist you to get to the next place.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's it. We assist you to
Listen.
get to the next place. Which brings up, I know we're about to go into our second affirmation for this webinar.
Mm-hmm,
Another place that we want you to definitely tap into, which goes with our testimony. You know, we was living a life and feeling things and not authentically tapping into the place that we needed to be.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We weren't tapping in. And so being covered, manifestation, the covered brings the stress, brings the depression, the anxiety. And so in order for us to heal and move from those places, we have to tap into our inner true self, our
Yes.
authentic selves, to
Mm-hmm,
be the most amazing self, because no one on this world is you.
mm-hmm.
You are your very, what I used to always say, with your amazing, unique self.
Mm-hmm.
You are you. You are amazing in every way, no matter the circumstance, because that is not you.
Yes.
Today, you need to understand that the world deserves the authentic
Authentic.
you.
Yes. Yes.
That's another affirmation for this webinar that we want you to take away from. Jot
Mm-hmm.
this down. And the affirmation is, the world deserves the authentic me. I
Yes.
realized that the world deserves Jamecia,
Mm-hmm.
not the roles and titles that she carries, the roles that she bear. That wasn't Jamecia.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
world deserves for Jamecia to tap into her purpose. They
Yeah.
deserve the authentic me. And so here I am. And sometimes people can say, she thinks no, I know I am confident and I am bold and I am amazing and I am worthy and I am purposed to be here in every way because God told me so. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to change who I am because I identify who I am and this is me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am going to get in the rooms that can handle me
Mm-hmm.
and be great, and you be great as well.
Listen.
No one can move me
Honest.
from
Speak. I mean, and the thing is, right? That's where the self-doubt, that's where so many different things
that.
come up within us, right? And it's not that we don't struggle with it. I struggle with it daily.
Still,
Like, I don't
still
even like
struggle.
speaking. It's funny. I don't even like speaking in public. This right here is not me. If you knew the true me, you would know I am the biggest introvert
She
in the
is uncovered, you guys.
person. But the authentic me, who that little voice told me that I am, and who is inside of me, has
Yeah,
something to say,
something
right?
to say.
Has
Yes.
something to share. And even more, I come alive in this space. If
Mm-hmm.
you saw me on the side of the road and wanted to have a conversation with me, you'd be like, oh, that girl was so boring. But you start talking to me about let's go, let's be empowered, and how can we get from point A to point B
And be
and
like,
showing up
girl, let
on
me tell you how.
listen, showing up authentically. And that is exactly it, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
just want to just share our next slide with you
Mm-hmm.
in regards to how are you able to do this? How are
Mm-hmm.
you able to get to a point
Here comes the
where
tools.
mhm,
Y'all drop in that
mhm.
chat. Here are the tools. Get ready
Yes,
for it. Get ready for it.
yes, yes. And we spoke about it already, right? If you want to live an uncovered life, most importantly, it is time for you to speak your truth.
Mm-hmm.
It is time for you to speak your truth. And I don't care if you just speak it to your counselor, speak it to us, your beautiful coaches,
Mm-hmm.
or you just speak it to your, your friends, write it down in your journal. But you need to
Let's
get to
make
a
sure,
place.
let's add a little side note. Let's make sure those friends are able to receive your truth.
Yes,
Because if
yes.
they have been your friends through this journey and you always have shared with them and they couldn't really give you no strong feedback or tell you anything to push you forward, then they
Hmm.
are a friend that needs to stay in that friend area. But they
Yes.
are not the friend to help you speak your truth.
Hmm.
They are not the friend to help you uncover. That is the friend that's comfortable being in that space that y'all in together. And they're going to always be that person
Yes,
to hear your
yes.
stuff and be like, girl, but this is what we do. No,
Hmm.
we are moving forward and we're ready to speak our truth. So let's locate and identify that friend if you want to use that friend. But if not, here we are, your coach.
Yep. And that's one of the things that we do teach you within the coaching atmosphere, right? Is categorize and understand what it is and what space you are at. So that if you are trying to create a business, you're not going to go and speak to your high school friend who is still sitting at home working the same type of job. You're going to go
Mm-hmm.
and speak to someone who has opened a business, who is educated in that particular area, right? Who's going
Mm-hmm.
to be able to give you some knowledge, right? And so
Right.
that's one of the things that we do teach you as a coach and help you with is categorizing your life. There may be some people who can come along with you, right? There may be some people who may not be able to understand or listen, the capacity, the expansion in your life is going to happen. And they may not be able to be
Right.
in that, or they have to move out of the way so that you can move ahead, right?
Right.
And so, as Coach Jamecia said, choosing wisely, right? Who you are having that conversation with, who are
Right.
you talking to? But you must speak your truth. There's something
Right.
that we do agree, you have self-recognition and do speak your truth.
Absolutely.
Leading into that is exactly what Coach Jamecia said, having some boundaries completely. Okay? Because
Complete boundaries.
completely, you have to be able to understand where you are at and what you are able to handle in
Mm-hmm.
each moment of your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And creating those boundaries to say, Mom, not today. I
Yep.
cannot emotionally handle this particular situation, right? I'm not in an emotional space to deal with this, and I need to remove myself. I
Absolutely.
need to go away and assess what it is that what it is that I'm particularly dealing with. If you can imagine, you would create a boundary again around your children, around your loved one that you truly, truly love. And the way I love to think about creating boundaries is, why haven't we created a gate around our hearts, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you saw injustice or if you saw something happening to your child, you would act immediately.
Right.
And it is time for you, when we're creating boundaries, when we're talking about boundaries, when something happens and your heart comes under attack, where's the boundary?
Where's the
Create
boundary?
defense around it, right? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you do not, you're creating more pain to yourself, you're creating more hurt to yourself, and the only one who's can protect your heart is yourself, right?
Absolutely.
If you want to elaborate on that.
So yeah, you definitely want to create that boundary. You definitely want to make sure that let's not talk about a boundary where you have put a wall up where it's causing you not to be that authentic you. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about the boundary where you can still be your authentic self, right?
Yes.
You spoke your truth and you're still being your authentic self. Your authentic place is that soft place, right? That place where you're still able to say, no, I just don't, that's not going to work for me.
What's
Instead
the
of that
name of that?
place, huh?
remember the neighbor fence, right? So as a neighbor, you have those fences. You can look over the fence. You can look over the fence. You can open the gate if you choose to open the
You
gate.
over there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh, I'm good over here. Hi, how you
exactly.
doing? And you keep on going. You know,
Exactly.
it's that creative space where you're not like, so for example, you put the wall up and you just have to be, you agree. No, I said I don't want to do it. Or
Mhm.
you removing yourself to a place of it's causing you not to be around places that you want to be. But you put up a boundary where you can't be free and enjoy this space because you don't
Yes.
created this whole wall. No, we're
Mhm.
saying create the boundary where you're
Yes.
still in this safe space, where
Mhm.
you're still in
Mhm.
this place of peace, where you still can voice how you feel, however you
Yes.
need to, but not in an aggressive way, because we
Mhm.
all know that you can say anything that you need to say without the special whoopty whoops. Okay. But creating that boundary where you still be in that authentic space.
Yes. Yes.
That is what we need you to understand.
Mhm.
Create that boundary where you are not moved by how someone will respond to your boundary.
Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
You create that boundary where you are moved how it's about you, not
Yes.
about their response or how they feel,
Mhm.
because that's
Yes.
a place of fear. So
Mhm.
that's not a safe space. That's not a safe boundary.
Exactly. Hmm.
Okay.
And we're not about moving your boundaries back because someone said something that they didn't like. And so then you're like, okay, well, let me shrink, right?
No, we ain't shrinking.
We're not in that. It's about you recognizing, where am I? How do I want to show up in this situation, right? And being able to verbalize to that
Mm-hmm.
individual, to whatever circumstance that you are in, to say, this is how I want to be. I choose to be in this situation in this particular manner because this is who I am, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
have a boundary line on a piece of land, it's a boundary line. It's a line, right? It ain't
Mm-hmm.
nothing that anyone can do. You could go up to the city house and they would tell you, nope, that's a boundary line. It belongs to La Cayenne. And that is exactly it. I've created a line, and I know that I don't want certain things to cross that particular line. And I'm in a space where I'm able to say, I'm sorry, you're getting too close to that line. And it's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable for me, and I feel this when you do this, right? And
Absolutely.
being able to verbalize and speaking up for yourself. The next thing that we were going to talk about is so important because
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to have self maintenance. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to care for yourself, right? And this is probably should have been up the top. It honestly, it probably should have been up the top
Mm-hmm.
because every single day, and that's what we spoke about even through the affirmations, but it's about taking 5 minutes out of your day
Mm-hmm.
and saying, I am enough, I can show up, I am worthy, as Coach Jamecia had stated. But you need to take, and I say it very clearly. When I say you need, I'm saying it in
It's a
this
must.
particular manner because I'm not trying to be soft with you. I am saying it with you so that you understand that this is a point of contention for yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
you have a low self-esteem. We've all been in that particular state, right? Where we've
Mm-hmm.
had to rebuild ourselves, and we didn't understand at that particular time certain things that we were going through. We are at a place where we can speak our boundaries
Yeah.
because we do self-maintenance,
Yes.
because we do self-care, right?
Yes.
Because we took time out to figure out who am I? Who do I want to be? How do I
Mm-hmm.
want to show up? Right? What
Mm-hmm.
do I like? Let me ask you, Coach Jamecia, how long did it take for you for someone to even for you to answer the question, hey Coach Jamecia, what do you like? Because I
Um,
know for me, it took forever.
before if someone to say, for example, hey, Jamecia, how are you feeling? Or what do you like? And I'm like, oh, the kids is good.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh,
Now I can tell you exactly what I like. I like Jimmy Choo perfume. I love spaghetti. I love a sun kiss from time to time, and I love my space. I love my private time, my peace. I don't like a lot of TV. I can tell you all a whole list, but before I did not know what all that was. The like or
listen.
not like. I know what I was told that I should or shouldn't, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell you what I like or not like. So that self-care, that self-maintenance is very important. I call it the balance. You gotta
Yeah.
have the balance because if not, if you don't, you can speak your truth, you can create the boundary, but if you don't have that self-care and that maintenance, when those triggers come, because triggers come, life be life. And remember, you
Yes.
will go back into, you will start tiptoeing back into that space of where you did not want to be. That space
Mm-hmm.
of depression, that space of anxiety, that space of
Yes.
panic attacks. You will
Mm-hmm.
start tiptoeing back in that space because you allow other things to be greater than your balance or your self-care or your
Yes.
self-maintenance. So it is
Mm-hmm.
important, just like all of the other list of things that you do for yourself, to make sure you have that time to reflect. Reflection
Yes.
is key. Reflection is important. And you have to have that time of reflection because, again, we're forever evolving. And if
Mm-hmm.
we cannot reflect and sit and think and go from, okay, this used to work, but now I need to do this because this no longer works for me because I've outgrown this. I need to
Yes.
move forward. And those are the things that you enter into when you are doing your self-care,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
time to yourself, the bathroom
Yes.
ministry, sitting in the car on your by yourself, going to the park, sitting somewhere. Those are just examples of self-care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It may every now and then include a friend, going out to dinner with a friend, but
Yes.
9 times, 8 times out of 10, it's going to be you reflecting on where you need to go next.
Yes. Yes. And speaking about the park, right? Let me tell you, when I was in that depression and I was going to work back home in Bermuda, I would sometimes be like, you know what? I'm just going to the park today. I
Mhm.
need to just disappear. Sometimes your lunch hour was the only time that you had to even think, right? To get away from home because of your life circumstances at the time. So you do need to just say and separate yourself
Yep.
by going away and saying, listen, 10 minutes is all I
10.
need.
It's 10.
10
Oh,
minutes.
today, and that was that day. 10
Mhm.
minutes is all you need that. But if you need it because it's your life, right? If
Yes.
you needed 15 minutes another day, or just you needed 5 minutes this day, that's because the beautiful thing is your life, your
Mm-hmm.
balance, your self-care, your maintenance. You have that option to choose. So
Yes, yes. And one of the things I do encourage, and my coach that I had, she used to say all the time, get up early before the house starts, right? Get up early before anything happens in your house and
mhm.
give yourself time. Give yourself that love and reflection if you want to do devotions, whatever it is that you're choosing to do, to start your day off in a
Mhm.
space where you can put things into perspective, where you can say, okay, this is my plan for the day. These are
Yep.
my objectives for the day, right? Where you can put those into when we talk about it and we speak about our journaling, we'll get into that just in a few moments. You're taking that time out so that who you are today, we talk about your future, you would actually begin to learn through that self-love and through that self-care. I actually don't like that anymore.
Yeah.
I thought I did, but
Mhm.
that don't serve me.
Just
And
like my colors, my favorite colors change. Depends on my season. I used to be a girl who put me in black, all different shirts, all different pants, and no matter. Now, oh honey, I'm colorful as I can be. And but green is my favorite color. Yeah, right now the green's my favorite color. But listen, give me all the colors. You're gonna see my plus
Listen.
size in these colors if you like. But I used to have the insecurity of being a plus size girl, and color ain't gonna look right on me. Or color, listen, I'm gonna wear it and wear it boldly, and you're gonna be like, oh, she did that. But that is where I had to be to gain my confidence. That's my
My whole
confidence.
wardrobe, right? My whole wardrobe is black. One wardrobe is black. Okay. Let me tell you, doing lives and stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, if they see me every day or every other day, I'm gonna be wearing a black shirt. It's just got a
Yep.
different color. It's
Yeah.
got, ABCD. But at the same time, like Coach Jamecia said, different things happen. And I'm being honest and I'm acknowledging here, I have begun to wear different colors and
Uh-huh.
different
I
things
seen you.
as he happened. But it's even so as happiness starts to come into your life, right? You begin
Mm-hmm.
not to say I don't like a little black, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. But what I am saying is that you begin to choose differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? You begin to see things a little bit different as you go along.
Absolutely.
And cares if this is what I want to wear? Or who cares if this is how I want to show up? Because you're being authentic. I like prints. I like certain things. So why can I have a little print when I'm good and
Mm-hmm.
ready, right?
Mm-hmm. Because
Why
that's
can
our
I show up?
truth.
Exactly, right? And so it does come back to, as you say, that self-care. It does come back to you being able to have that maintenance. And maintenance does not have to cost you money. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to. If you choose to go and purchase that nice bag that you wanted to go purchase, boo, I'm for you. If you choose just to pick up a book with a pen and start writing, it is on the same equivalent. Don't let's put that into perspective. We're not telling you
Absolutely.
that you have to go out and spend extraordinary an extraordinary amount of money. That's not what we're saying. We're saying take time out
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. Take time out for yourself. The last one that we do have here, and we've spoken throughout this whole webinar today, and it means so much to my heart, is rewrite your story.
Mm-hmm.
Change your perspective. No one can do it for you. No one can see things how you see them.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to choose to see it differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. You don't have to conform to how someone else sees it. But if it is bringing negativity and it is bringing you down in your life, how can I figure out ways? And that's where us as coaches can assist you. Yes, we will help you to uncover the things that happened in your life that were very negative. But we have, and that's our profession, right? This is what we are skilled to do, is to assist you to look at the opposite side of that page, and help you form a story. It is the same storyline. We get it. It's the same characters. We get it. Right.
Right.
But we want you to look at that situation so that it is no longer keeping you stuck. It is
Right.
no longer keeping you in a place where you can't think. It's no longer keeping you in a place where you're saying, I can't do that because I was molested, I was raped. I can't be in love with someone. I
Mm-hmm.
can't have this great career because my mom or someone told me that I wasn't worthy of it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what Coach Jamecia spoke about earlier, right? Given her example and things that happened to her in her life. It is the same. We are two different people, same types of stories, right? And we know that and you can drop in the comments as well, are going through certain things. And we want you to be able to get to a point where you are looking at it so that you can rewrite the narrative, rewrite that story in a different
Yes.
way.
Absolutely. So that's the tools.
Yeah.
We sit here, we speak our truth, we acknowledge what we need to uncover, we create the boundaries where we're authentic to ourselves, and then we make sure we create that place of balance, the
Mm-hmm.
self-care, the self-maintenance, so that while we are evolving and rewriting our story, we're creating those boundaries, and we are also being authentic to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and being great,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every single day, moving
Exactly.
forward and
Exactly.
evolving every single day. And that is what we love. We're never going to say that the triggers won't come. We're never going to say life won't life. But what we're saying is, here are some tools to help you be great, to help you manifest a different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
uncovered you, the
Yes.
bare you. We want you manifesting the authentic you, not the covered up you. You done that.
Mm-hmm.
You aced it. You did that with the covered you.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time for you to see you and for the world to see who you truly are.
Yes.
And that's what we love. Now, if you are a person who you're just like, yeah, those are the tools, but how do I work that? Work that? Like, I don't know. That is where me and Coach Like I Am can help
Mm-hmm.
you break down these tools to be great. All right.
Yes.
We're so excited that you are here. And another thing we wanted to share with you was about our journal.